Hello, I'm Jennifer Grace, and today I'm going to put this quote: "Enjoy the little things in life because someday you will look back and realise they were the big things." This is by Robert Brault, and I'm going to put it on top of a photo of mine and then use the photo to decorate a binder. So I've come across to PicMonkey, which is an online photo editing service. Some of the things I'm going to use today you do have to pay for. It's a monthly subscription, but I think it's very reasonable, so you don't have to pay to do all of it, though some of it's free. So you can try it out before you buy it. I've opened up the photo that I'm going to use, and I'm going to try and remove the background. So I scroll down on the editing options and choose the dodge tool to start with. This is one of the ones you have to pay for. You can tell which ones you have to pay for because they have a little crown icon underneath them, because their membership's called Royale. So I start off trying to use the dodge tool, which just lightens things. I thought maybe I could just lighten the background, but I decided that wasn't working, it wasn't strong enough. I want to really clear the background out. So instead I choose the clone tool, another Royale tool, and this one I can use to properly block out the background by choosing a source area which is completely white, and then using that to drag a whiteness over the parts that I want to get rid of. So you can see that I keep clicking back on the source button and doing it again so that I can make sure that I'm always keeping it white. You sometimes might pick up other areas of the background, and I just want the whiteness. When it gets to a more difficult bit, I zoom in a bit. You can see I've sped this up. I was doing this a bit slower. And I just carry on. You can adjust the size of the tool so you're doing small areas at a time, which is perfect when you're getting to these closer up bits. When it gets to the area around my daughter's hair, that was a little bit difficult. To start with, I blocked it off completely, but I didn't like that, just chopping her hair off. So I undid some of that area and redid it, just going quite close and playing around with the brush strength and the fade options so that it wasn't completely blocked out. I didn't chop her hair off quite so much. Then I just need to save my photo as it is. You can adjust the quality of it. Oh, I realised that there was a bit of grey still over on the left hand side, so I just pop back in and dodge that to lighten it. So yeah, then I go in and I change the quality size of the photo to the highest quality. At the moment that's called Sheen or Sean. They do change the names of the higher quality though. It's always the one on the far right. Then I just change the title of the photo and save it to my desktop. Then I need to set up the PicMonkey as a design option. So I choose the design 8x10 option. You can choose a custom size by changing the pixels, but I am happy with 8x10. And I've left it as a white background because I'm going to be completely covering it up anyway. But you could change the canvas colour of your design if you wanted to. So I've just resized the photo by dragging the corner handles of the photo to make it fill up the 8x10 frame a bit more. But I've left it so that there is some white space above my children's heads, because that's where I'm going to put the quote. So I've gone to the text option, that's the double T's over in the left hand menu, and I am adding some text. I have chosen to add some Amatic text, that's the font kind, but I had to go to the Yours option under the Add Text box, because Amatic is one of my fonts on my desktop, so you can actually use the fonts on your desktop in the PicMonkey program. And then I've typed out the quote and I'm just centering it and changing the colour to a kind of corally pinky colour, kind of to match my daughter's dress a bit in the photo. And then I just need to fit it on top of the photo, work out where it's going to go. So to start with, I had it centered, but I decided to right align it instead because that fitted better on top of my photo. And you can see I entered an extra space above the word things because I'm going to fit the word big in there with a different font. So I've gone back to the add text box, and now I'm going to play around with the PicMonkey fonts until I find one that I like. And I'm going to do the word big in a blue colour to match the stripes on my sun's top. So I've picked a couple of the colours from the photo to use on the quote. So I'm still playing around with the sizing of the font. I want to make the hole bigger. Wanted to make the space bigger for the word big to fit in so it could really be big. It was a bit small before. You can't have a small word that says big, that's just silly. So I play around with a few different fonts and I end up using the sketch block font, which is one of the newer ones. And it is one you have to pay for. It's on the subscription service. Again, they've got the little crown icon next to them, so you can see which ones you can't use if you are not paying for it yet. Once I've chosen the font, I also decide to change it to capital letters rather than small letters. So it really is a nice big word. Once I'm happy with the fonts, I then go to add some overlays. So that's the butterfly icon in the left-hand menu. And you can scroll down and see all kinds of different overlay options. I start with some leafy stems, adding a couple of these either side of the photo. So you can play around with rotating these. You can duplicate the overlays by right-clicking on them and choosing duplicate overlay. That makes it easier to get one that matches the colour exactly. And you can also place your overlays so that they are hanging over the edge of your canvas. They don't have to all be completely on the canvas. If you want it to hang over the edge, that's perfectly fine. You can choose something to match the colour of another item you've got on your screen by using the hex code. So here I wanted the flower from the floral options to match the colour of the font. So I went back and checked what colour the font was under the hex code. So that's the kind of numbers and letters. There should be 6 numbers and letters under the top right part of the editing box that comes up. And you can choose the hex code, so you can write down the numbers and letters sequence that it is and input that into another overlay so that they match. So I've added another overlay. This one's from the Bursting Blossoms. I like this one because it's kind of got that see-through area, transparent area to it, which just makes it look a bit different to the other things I've put on the page. And I'm just tweaking the placement of things because I don't want all the overlays to dominate the photo too much. I just want them to accent it and frame it. I've also added a doodly heart here, and I'm just changing that to a sort of muted colour. I was flicking through a lot of the different colours until I found one that was kind of very muted and certainly didn't dominate the other colours I've added already. I make one more little tiny heart just because I like the echoing of having the same overlays on both sides of the picture. Apart from the big Bursting Blossoms flower, I didn't repeat that one, but the others are all repeated there. Just really helps to create that frame effect. And then once I'm happy with all of those items, I just need to save my photo again. So the save option is right at the top of the page here, and again I make sure that I save it as the highest quality photo option, and I changed the name so that it's not got the same name as it was before. I want to keep that white background one as a separate one in case I need it for something else. Okay, and then once I had finished all of that, I decided to use the photo to decorate a binder. So I just chopped the photo down. I've just printed it on normal printer paper, copy paper, using my laser printer. And I have just chopped off the top and bottom of the photo. I didn't chop off the left and right hand edges because I'm going to cover those up with tape. So I actually wanted there to be a bit of overlap there. Just using a repositionable tape runner to stick it on. It was very important to me to use the repositionable tape because, as you'll see in a minute, I have a bit of an obsession with making sure things are perfectly straight. And I lifted this off and stuck it down and lifted it off and stuck it down many times before I was happy with it. So I thought I was happy with it for a moment here, and I started sticking on some washi tape. So I've got this My Mind's Eye washi tape which has got triangles on it with kind of arrows effect. But the colours matched the colours in the photo perfectly, so I stuck that on down the left and right hand sides of the photo. And once I had done that, I decided the photo was too close to the right hand edge of the binder, the washi tape. There was hardly any blue showing down the side of the washi tape, so I decided to move it over again. But luckily I was able to keep the washi tape stuck on the photo. I just peeled it all off as one thing and stuck it back on again. So that was good. Repositionable tape saves the day. Once I was happy with the position of the photo and the washi tape, I then went looking through my stash to find something to put along the top and the bottom of the photo because I wanted it to be framed on all sides. So I went and found some glitter tape, and I tried a teal one first of all, but I didn't have enough of that. It wasn't a long enough strip. So I used some gold glitter tape instead. So just cut that down to the right size and stuck it along the top of my photo. Just gives it a nice bit of bling, bit of shimmer. We know I like some glitter and shimmer. And then I didn't have enough of that to go along the bottom of the photo too, so I went and found a ribbon, some polka dot ribbon in kind of a minty hue, which I used to go along the bottom. So I just stuck this on with my repositionable tape as well. I'm not sure if it's going to end up fraying at the ends. I think it depends on how much I use the binder. Like, I use the binder a lot, but it depends on how much I knock it about. So we'll see. I might end up having to add some Mod Podge or something on the ends of the ribbons to stop it from fraying. And then I'm just adding some gems scattered about in a few different places. I tried not to add too many because I didn't want to dominate the photo again. But I do have to have a few gems on there because it's mine, after all. So this binder is going to be used to keep my blog planner in. So it's nice to have something that I'm going to use every day, and I can keep looking at this cute photo of my kids and being reminded to appreciate the little things, because that's what's important in life. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Jennifer Grace. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Bye for now.